have a black lip gloss. Let's just see what it does. Oh, it's like black. In this week's episode of The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 5, Chapter 21, The Pirate, we have a lot to discuss in this episode. It was jam-packed with action. A lot of our storylines are getting tied up here, and we also have a lot of unanswered questions. But before we get started, my name is Crystal, as in the Kyber crystals in a lightsaber. And I'm covering The Mandalorian Season 3 all season long, so be sure to subscribe and never miss a video. I want to do something a little bit different today. I want to do something a lot more smoky and sultry. And I always try to go for like this really soft, girly kind of look because that is just like how I want to look all the time. But if I'm being objective with myself, it's not really like my look. I feel like I'm always trying to make my features really soft. And I'm like, girl, I have ankles. Let's work with those. But I fight it really, really hard. As always, I will have the products that I'm using in this video in the description. Okay, let's discuss the elephant in the room. This episode is titled The Pirate, and there's no Hondo Ohnaka. I don't know about you guys, but I love Hondo, and anytime I think pirate in Star Wars, I think of Hondo, and I'm really waiting to see him in live action. Immediately, I'm wondering, where's Hondo? Is he all right?
Where is Padme? Is she all right?
Hopefully he makes his live action appearance soon. I mean, that's one cameo that I would really be stoked about. I do like Gorian Shard though. I mean, why did they give him that name? Gorian Shard. That's actually hilarious that they did that. I like Gorian. I think that he looks really cool. Like his character design is really cool. I actually really like all the aliens in this episode. If there's one thing about me, it's that I love aliens. All the different aliens and the different creatures. I'm a big sci-fi girl. I love sci-fi. I love aliens. I love talking about aliens too. Like I'm that weird person that like loves to talk about aliens and conspiracy theories to like anyone that will listen to me. If you didn't know, now you know, but I'm that person. So anytime that we can see different aliens and creatures, I think that that is really cool. Dang, I haven't like drawn my brows in like this in a while. I miss it. Why don't I do this? I look so good. This episode opens with Gorian Shard and Greef Karga having a conflict because of like what happened in the first episode. So this puts Greef Karga in like such an awkward position because if you remember in that first episode, he was kind of saying like that he's really glad that he's not part of the Republic and that he's independent, but then he ends up reaching out to the Republic for help. He hits up our good old pal, Captain Teva, who, by the way, every Filipino family has an uncle that looks like him. I'm not even kidding. When I saw him on screen for the first time, I legit thought that it was my uncle. I had to like go and like look on Facebook to see if it was like my uncle who started acting. When Captain Teva was playing Greef Karga's note to him, it was giving me New Hope vibes, and I really thought that Greef was gonna say something like, "You're my only hope." I mean, he said it in so many words, though. I was like, oh, missed opportunity. I feel like this scene with Captain Teva in the Rebel Alliance bar. In this scene in the bar, we get our first look at a live action Zeb from Rebels, which honestly was so cool. I was literally that Leonardo DiCaprio meme because when he first appeared on screen, he was walking in the background and I was like, oh my god, a Lestat. I thought that maybe the Lestat walking around in the background was just going to be like a on-camera screen test for how a Lestat would look. And even just him like passing by in the background, I was like, oh my god, so cool. So cool to see a Lestat in live action. And then he sat down next to Captain Teva and opened his mouth and I was like, that's Zeb. When I heard what the Ahsoka show was going to be about, which is basically like a continuation of Rebels, I was really wondering if we were going to see Zeb at all because at the end of Rebels, he tells Agent Kallus, his husband, that they're going to go back to the secret hiding of where the Lestats are. I thought that's where they were going to spend the rest of their days, but as we see in The Mandalorian, he is part of the rebellion, so that's pretty cool. I'm also wondering where Kallus is. I hope that we see both of them, and I hope that we get a confirmation of them being a couple. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, and if you haven't seen Rebels, I talk about Zeb and Kallus in my shipping video, where I discuss all things love, romance, yearning, and shipping in Star Wars. I have a card right here. Check that out when you're done watching this video because it is personally one of my favorite videos. Anyways, back to Zeb. I thought that Zeb looked phenomenal. Like, he looked amazing. I wasn't sure if and when we saw him in live action, if they were gonna go like the CGI route, which is what we saw in this episode, or if we were gonna see something with like prosthetics and something in camera. It was just really cool. It was really cool to see that, and it got me really excited about the Ahsoka show because I know that it's gonna look really cool. So Captain Teva heads off to Coruscant. I'm just like kind of so over like these bureaucratic shenanigans. But it is important because I guess it really is showing that there are cracks in the New Republic where the Empire is kind of sneaking in and worming its way into power to, you know, set up for the sequel trilogy. And then we have this moment with Greef Karga back on Navarro where he's moving his people to a safer place and back into hiding. So that way they don't get like K-worded. And I actually really liked this scene. I thought that it was done in a really emotional way. I really liked this moment. I thought that it was a really good emotional beat, and it kind of showed Greef in this position where he was like really worried about his people and how he kind of had this realization and that he kind of messed up. Because Teva cannot get the help of the Republic to back him up, he goes and finds the Mandalorian's secret hideout. But Captain Teva says that he ends up getting the information from a snitch who's R5. And I was like, okay, that's cute. But when we were like, who's the snitch? I really thought that it was like a Mandalorian. So Teva basically lets Din know what's going on in Navarro and tells him, yo, you gotta help your homie out because I can't do anything. Then we get like this scene between the Mandalorians kind of having this discussion of should we go help Navarro, or after Din pleads his case with the Mandalorians, they open the circle up to anyone that wants to say something before I guess they take a vote. And then Paz Vizsla says, I have something to say. And I was like, of course he does. Okay, I think we're gonna do some of this palette. This is my Din Djarin palette from ColourPop Cosmetics. And then when Paz started to speak, I was like, dude, he's such a hater. Big hater vibes from Paz Vizsla. At the end of the speech, he really showed up for Din. Paz Vizsla ended up writing for Din, and you know what? I respect that. From there, we cut to a scene back on Navarro, and we see what the pirates are doing to Navarro. And honestly, it was pretty cool getting to see the Pirates in Caribbean, but Star Wars. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, but Star Wars. Love this scene of the Mandalorians taking Navarro back. I feel like we are finally getting to see the Mandalorians live up to their reputation of being these savage warrior people. This episode gave me big Rebels vibes. This episode felt very Star Wars to me. I really want to figure out a way to incorporate the Sith Seductionpallet from Pat McGrath. I did a whole video unboxing my Pat McGrath makeup, and I have a card for it right here if you're interested in makeup and Star Wars makeup. And I also talk about the Phantom Menace too. Okay, this is really, really pretty. Something else about this scene or this episode that I really liked was it really felt like we had stakes, because I feel like that's something that we've been missing in this whole season, is I feel like there haven't been high stakes. Like, there's nothing serious that has been happening in this show. There was a moment there where it seemed like the pirates had the upper hand, and I was like, oh, they could lose. Go in with the Mothership palette. I'm going to take this color on my finger and just right here bring it up to my brow bone too. Mandalorians win. They save the day. They save Navarro from the pirates. And Greef Karga offers the Mandalorian some of their land so they can grow and become a strong people again. But honestly, I thought that was so weird, and just, it didn't make sense to me, because I really thought that Din going back to Mandalore and finding out that it's not poisoned and toxic, it was like the start of the Mandalorians going back to Mandalore and rebuilding and having this new age of Mandalore on Mandalore. I don't know, guys. I don't actually know where this story is going at all. The armorer requests Bo down to the like sewers where they used to live, where they used to congregate on Navarro, and she requests her presence down there and then asks Bo to take off her helmet. And I really thought that this was like a trick. So I was like, Bo, don't take off your helmet, don't take off your helmet. And of course she did. And then I thought we were gonna get the reveal of who the armorer is, if the armorer is someone that we know from Rebels or... In this scene with the armorer and Bo-Katan, it was like so tense between them, and I have to say, you know I have to say it, but a ship was born. We have Bo-Katan and the armorer, which I know is not a new ship. I just decided to start shipping it after this scene. Even when Bo was like walking down there, I was like, oh no, like what's gonna happen? And then she's like, take off your helmet. The ship sailed. Anyways, before I get carried away, the reason why the armor has Bo take off her helmet is because she claims that Bo has walked both paths of the Mandalorian, and because Bo has seen the mythosaur, that she thinks that basically Bo is going to be the person to lead the Mandalorians into a new age of Mandalore. I have a black lip gloss. Let's just see what it does. Oh, it's like black. I definitely thought it was gonna be like more sheer. Black was definitely a mistake. Oh my gosh, I need to take this off. Get a little palm tree action. Good for Bo. I'm happy for her, and she's getting like her little redemption arc, but Din Djarin is standing right there. Din Djarin, who is literally wielding the darksaber. Like, it should have been Din to be able to take off his helmet and walk both ways, both paths of the Mandalorian. Well, the show is Din Djarin's show, so I'm a little confused. Din grew up in the Children of the Watch. Like, he has lived this creed his whole life, and when he has decided to take off his helmet a few times, he did it out of what he saw as like necessity, and he was upfront and honest when he did take off his helmet when he was questioned by the armorer. She had the audacity to be like, you're no longer a Mandalorian unless you go bathe in the living waters on Mandalore, which is thought to be a poisoned planet. So she already gave him like this impossible task, this like seemingly impossible redemption. And he did it. He literally did it. He almost drowned. And when he was in the mines of Mandalore with Bo-Katan, she was mocking him. She was like mocking all of Mandalore. What I'm trying to say is Din made very active decisions in how he chose to live as a Mandalorian. And with Bo, I feel like she just situationally is there, and she just kind of happened to be in this Children of the Watch and the creed. And I don't know how you guys feel about it. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about it, but it just felt very weird to me that the armorer chose Bo for this mission. I don't know. And I want Bo to like have her moment, but it's not working for me. 3 episodes left. I have no idea where their story is going. And yeah, I hope that it's going to be good. Cool. That's all I gotta say. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments down below. I would love to hear your opinions as always. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me while I did this makeup. It honestly was so much fun and out of my comfort zone. I hope that you guys liked hanging out and putting on makeup and talking about this week's episode. If you want to connect with me, I am on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you're interested in supporting me and my channel, consider sticking around and watching a few of my other videos. I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you next time. This is the way. Bye.